ingredients ready for our empanadas, and what I first need to do is get everything really cold because I really want these to be nice and flaky. So we're going to start by mixing our dry ingredients. We're going to whisk them for a little bit just to aerate them, and then we're going to put this in the freezer, and the butter and the water. I'll show you. But here I have 2 cups and a quarter of flour, 2 tablespoons of sugar, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, and I'm only adding cinnamon to this batter because we're making apple pie empanadas. If you were using this to make other sweet, fillings, you just forget the cinnamon, okay? And I have 1.5 teaspoons of salt. As always, I will have the grams to all of this on the written recipe, which is always underneath the video. I'm going to put this bowl in the freezer for about 20 minutes. Here I have half a cup or 4 ounces of unsalted butter, which as you can see I cubed. I'm also going to put this in the freezer for 20 minutes. And in here I have half a cup of water, which is also going into the freezer. I am going to peel and cube 2 green apples. They are big, so if you have smaller ones you might want to do 3. I have them in a bowl with lemon and water so they won't get brown on me. In this bowl I have an egg, 2 tablespoons of milk, and I'm going to add a pinch of salt. Okay, our flour is nice and cold. Here's our butter. I'm just going to add it in. We want to incorporate this until it looks like coarse crumbs. You can use your clean hands, but you may need to make sure you're not overworking that. You don't want to heat everything up. You can also use one of these pastry cutters. That'll work. 2 knives will work, and a food processor would work beautifully. I'm going to measure out a 1/3 cup of that cold water. I just want the extra just in case I need it. I'm just going to add it to the flour. I'm going to put my egg in there, and I'm going to add a tablespoon of vodka. You can also use distilled vinegar. Now I know this looks incredibly unusual, but please trust me, you're not going to taste the vodka or the vinegar if you're using it, but it's going to make your dough very flaky. Alright, we're just going to mix all this in with a fork. I'm going to clean my board, flour it, and dump this on top. I am not going to knead this. I just want to work it so that it just, comes together. And if I need to add that extra water, I will, but we'll see. I'm just going to add the rest of the water. So I did use a half a cup of water. Hey, don't worry that you have little pieces of butter in there. That's okay. I'm now going to cut this in half. I'm going to form a flat disc, and I'm going to wrap it in plastic, and I'm going to refrigerate it for at least an hour. You can leave it in there overnight if you would want to. We're going to soften our apples in some butter. I'm melting 2 tablespoons of butter in here, and I have drained those apples. They're sitting in the strainer here. We're just going to cook these for maybe 2-3 minutes. I want them to soften, and then we're going to cool them down completely. The reason I'm doing this is because the empanadas are not going to be in the oven that long, and I don't want the filling to have hard pieces of apple in it. Okay, these are ready. They're softened. I don't want to cook them all the way through. They are softened though. And now I'm going to take them off the heat, and I'm going to let them cool down. I'm going to leave them in this skillet because they're not piled up. But if yours are piled up in yours, spread them out on a cookie sheet or something. You want this to cool down completely. Okay, my apples have cooled down, and I put them in a bowl, as you can see. I'm going to add a 1/3 cup of sugar to this, a teaspoon of cinnamon, and a 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. So let's make our empanadas. As you can see, I have a floured board here, and I'm flouring my rolling pin. I am going to roll out the dough. I left the other half in the fridge. You can make these the size that you'd like. I'm going to use this glass and make them this size. So once you've cut them, go ahead and spread them out a little more. Our filling has a nice juice to it now, so make sure you add some of that to your empanada, okay? I put a tiny bit of unsalted butter in the middle there. If you want, it can be salted. It'll be salted apple pie. Seal the edges. Now, you can leave this like this if you want. Now you can just seal it with a fork as well. Or you can rope it. So 1, 2, you're just overlapping. So overlap. It's really no big deal. So if you want to freeze these, freeze them now. What I do is I put them on a plate, I put the plate in the freezer, wait for these to be frozen individually, then I put them flat on a bag, in a freezer bag, put some wax paper on top and layer them like that. Okay, you don't have to thaw them to cook them. Take it out of the freezer frozen and put it in your very hot oven, 400 degrees Fahrenheit, 200 centigrade, and let them cook. They will take maybe 3 or 4 more minutes than they would when they're not thawed. When they're thawed. We're gonna make an egg wash for our empanadas. So I have an egg in there and I'm gonna splash some cream in here. So you're gonna have more dough than filling, okay? You're gonna have dough left over. So if you want to make them all, you're gonna have to maybe make one more apple, like I showed you, because you're gonna get about 20 empanadas from this filling, and you're probably gonna get about 30 from the dough. So yeah. All right, now we're just gonna brush these. I'm only gonna bake 8 now. I'm gonna freeze all the rest. We're gonna wipe the excess egg off this mat. These are gonna go into an oven that's been preheating at 400 degrees Fahrenheit, 200 degrees centigrade for, I don't know, we'll look at them in 15 minutes, okay? They have to be nice and brown. 17 minutes in my oven. These are perfect. They're nice and browned. Oh, I wish you could smell this. They smell amazing. We're gonna let them cool down and then we'll have one. So these are nicely browned at the bottom and on top. Look how flaky this is. Oh, it's got like little layers here, see? Yum. It tastes like apple pie in a little morsel. This is really nice. Nice way to make these. I love how the dough turned out. The filling is nice. It's not dripping in juice, but it's not dry. It's very good. Thank you for watching this video. I appreciate it a lot. If you like it and you give me a like, thank you. If you share it with your friends and you sub and you comment, thank you. I really appreciate it. You have no idea how much I appreciate your support. A lot. Thank you. I will have this recipe on the website ready for you guys to come and print it. In the meantime, eat well without going broke. I'm gonna see you guys soon.